Alright, so we're about to play Brave Little Belgium, and Jacob is going to teach me how to play the game. So, let's get started.
Okay, so this is a chit pull war game. Takes place over the course of at most 8 turns. It is Germany's invasion of Belgium at the beginning of World War One. The Germans are, as the German player, you're just attempting to break through Belgium to begin the invasion of France on a faster timetable than the historical one. As the Triple Entente powers, you are trying to hold the German line, or hold the line against the Germans longer than they held, historically.
You're saying that Belgium can't win?
No,
Come on.
crushed outright. So this is marked on the turn track. If the Germans achieve all their victory conditions prior to the August 19th to 21st turn, they have to maintain it until the end of that turn. If at the end of that turn the Germans have achieved their victory condition, they have a win. If the Germans achieve their victory conditions during either of the next 2 turns, it is a draw. If the Germans have not achieved their victory condition by the August 25th to 27th turn, the Germans have lost. They are behind schedule. So for the Allies, it is a holding game. For the Germans, it is trying to break through and achieve victory. How the Germans achieve victory, the conditions that they must meet are: they must destroy the fort at Liege, they must destroy the fort at Namur, and they must occupy one of the cities on the other side of this diamond line here with an infantry unit. Cavalry don't count. If they have destroyed both forts and occupy with an infantry before the last turn, they must still hold it until the victory turn, or the first eligible turn to win. So the Allies are just trying to hold them back. Because this is a surprise German offensive, at the start of the game, 3 out of the 4 German armies are active, and only the Belgians are active on the other side. Then on the second turn, the 5th French army will be available. Then at the next turn, the 4th German army and the 4th French army are available. And then the British Expeditionary Force comes into the game on turn 4. And that brings all the units into the game. The flow of the game, it's a chit pull war game. You're just alternating. Each player takes a turn drawing a chit. It can be an event chit. It can be an army activation chit. It can be a turn end chit. There are 3 turn end chits in the cup. When all 3 have come out, the turn is over. Or the chit draw section of the turn is over. We move to the later phases. If it's an event chit, it is set aside and can be triggered by the owning player when appropriate. Events don't resolve immediately. They are bonuses that can be triggered once per turn, anytime after it is available. So for example, this chit says +1 German movement. So during one German army activation later on in the turn after it was pulled, Germany can use it to get +1 movement for one of their army groups. If it's an army chit activation, so that's the Belgian one, all Belgian units get to move and fight for this chit being pulled. Once that chit's out of the cup, Belgium won't get to go again until the next turn. For the non-Belgium forces, it's color-coded. So for example, when the red German general, which is General von Kuck, general of the 1st German army, when he comes out, I get to activate all the red German units. When the pink German chit comes out, I get to activate all the pink units, purple, orange, so on. So it's all color-coded, just like there's the blue French army and the gray French army. Not everything may come out of the cup, because once all 3 end turns are out, the chit pull is done. I'm going to come back to the specifics of moving armies, but just to finish the flow of the game, after all 3 turn ends are out, the German player may then activate every army that has not gone yet. So if we ended the turn like this, and only the red German army had gone, as the German player, I can then choose to activate the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. I could just do the 2nd and 3rd. I could just do the 4th. I can activate any number of the unactivated armies. For each army that didn't get to go normally that I activate, I roll a die. And if I get a 4, 5, or 6, I commit an atrocity. If The atrocities goes up based on activating armies that didn't activate normally and rolling poorly. If the atrocities ever get to 5, the German player loses outright. So, because the German player is they have to keep moving forward, they always have the option of using every army. But if you didn't get them all going, you can start committing atrocities and cost yourself the game. Then after the supplemental German activation, then it is the cleanup phase, which is moving the turn marker. Any activation chits on the new turn will go into the cup, so those units will be available to be used during the next game turn. And that's really all there is for the cleanup phase. Oh, we put all the pulled chits back into the cup. And then we refill it, and then we start pulling for the next turn. Go until the game is done. So, activating armies and how they work. First off, I want to mention the Garde Civique. These are the civil guard for the Belgians. They start the game face down. They never move. If forced to retreat, they're eliminated. They are randomly rolled at the start each chit, and there's a 1 in 6 chance of the chit being eliminated before the game starts, just not existing. Some of them are blank, and the ones that are actual military units have varying levels of combat value, so you really don't know what's where until the Germans get in there and flip it to fight it. But unfortunately, the Allied player doesn't actually get to know which guard units are where. The Civil Guard does or doesn't show up on their own whims, essentially. They're effectively militia. So, activating an army group. When you activate an army group, every chit, whether in a stack or spread out, gets to activate. You do all your movement and then resolve all combats after doing all movement. When moving, cavalry units, which just have the slash, the box with the 1 slash, move 4. Infantry units, which is the box with the X, move 2. The movement lines on the board, straight lines cost 1 movement point. The squiggly lines cost 2 movement points to move across. And you just move. If a unit moves into a box containing an enemy chit, it must stop. And once all movement is done, then we'll resolve combats in all cohabitated hexes. The one exception is if you end in a hex with a Garde Civique, we flip it over. If it's a blank chit, it goes away in the German army. If it's moving, can just keep going because there wasn't anything there. If it is a unit, though, then they have to stop and fight it once again. Forts count as units and halt forward progress. The difference is the fort spaces have a siege box that both friendly and enemy units go in for the purposes of sieging the forts. After all movement is done, then you resolve all fights that army unit triggered. How a fight is resolved: you take all of the units stacked, both good and, from both sides, I guess I should say, and set them in the appropriate side of the battle box. So let's say the first army was attacking assault here, and then you mark it with the combat chit so we know where this is taking place. This would be obviously a very one-sided fight. You want to stack the units by their relative combat factor, which is the number on the die shown on the chit. So there's 1 6, 3 5s, and 4 4s. And we're going to pretend that this Garde Civique is a 4.
You underestimate the Belgians. They invented French fries. They can do anything.
So we're going to assume this is a 4. I don't want to flip it over because then I have to reset up the board. But just for demonstrative purposes. So how the combat would work: first I would roll for the 6s. I did not get a 6 or better. The Belgians roll for their 6. They did not get a 6 or better. Then the Germans roll 3 dice because they have 3 5 units. They got 1 5 or better, so they got 1 hit. And then here's the 4 for the 4 betters. So the Germans generated a total of 3 hits, and the Belgians with their Garde Civique on a 4, they got, so 1 hit. Belgians generated 1 hit against the Germans generated 3 against the Belgians. When you take a hit, if you have a flip side, so some chits have a flip side with a white bar that has pictures, some don't. So if this unit takes a hit, because it doesn't have a flip side, it is just dead. If you assign a hit to a unit that has a flip side, you flip it over. Its combat value went down by 1. It's damaged. If a chit with a white bar side takes a hit, it is dead. And so that's how combat results are applied. Whoever takes the most hits loses the battle and is forced to retreat. If the attacker retreats, they go back to the square they entered from. If the defender retreats, they must go backwards. French and British units retreating have to retreat towards France. Belgian units just can't retreat into enemy units, but otherwise they are free to retreat in whatever empty direction they want. There's some stack over... So the stack limit is 8 chits per square. There is some stack overflow rules that I'm not going to get into if you retreat and overstack the square you retreat into. The 2 things that are important to note about combat and retreats, there's an advance rule where if the attacker wins the battle, has 5 times or more as many units as the defender, and all of the defender's units were killed, and the attacker did not suffer any casualties, so it's a lot of ands, then the attacker may move 1 extra space beyond the space they attacked. So 8 units attacking 1 cavalry unit here. If the cavalry doesn't score a hit, I have more than 5 times the number of enemies, and I killed them completely, and I suffer no casualties. Then I could move 1 more space, which could take me into another fight. And
like
that
a
is
breakthrough in Churchill.
Correct.
Except even harder.
Correct. Basically, it's so the Belgian player can't just put 1 chit in every square and just stall indefinitely. That way, there's an overrun if the Germans are all stacked up.
All right.
The only different kind of combat is siege combat. That's when the Germans attack a fort space. So there is an adjacent square to the fort. If there are normal units there, a normal battle is fought. The forts have a die value, and they roll a number of dice equal to their current pips. It's the pips facing the top of the board, so as they take damage, you reduce the fort's factor. Hits assigned to the fort, just each hit reduces it 1 level. If the attackers are still in the space, and because only 1 round of combat is fought, if the attackers win, and they're in the space, but the fort is still there, they remain in the siege space and are besieging the fort. Every time they activate, they will then resolve a combat against the fort until it's destroyed. The owner of the fort may send in units to trigger an offensive battle in which the fort will not participate unless they choose to activate it. There is a... how do forts activate? Sorry, one thing. So when the activation chit, so the main forts are owned by the Belgians, the minor forts are owned by the French. When a French chit is drawn, the French player may choose to activate its forts, 1, both, or none. When the Belgian chit is drawn, the Belgian player may choose to activate any number of its forts. Each fort can only be activated once during the course of the game. By activating the fort, it gets to participate in an offensive battle against the units besieging it. It's the only time the forts get to roll dice to attack an army that's besieging it. So in general, you would use that when the fort's under siege. The Belgians bring in an army stack to relieve the siege. On the same activation, they could activate the fort and have the fort fire in the offensive battle. But that can only happen once per game per fort. The special rule that should also be mentioned is the British Expeditionary Force. As long as all 3 of its chits are stacked together and are undamaged, all their die rolls are +1. Because the British Expeditionary Force did good things while it was at full strength, historically. So they have an advantage as long as they are all together and undamaged. There's a couple other minor things, but we will get into that.
They conquered a lot of brown people. They got really, really good at war.
All the other little things will come out as we play, but that's the general how you play the game.
Okay. All right. So let's get the game going.
One thing I did forget really quick, as I said, the chit stacking limit per box is 8. You can move over a fully stacked box, you just can't end in it. Forts count their max pips against stacking units, so a major fort, which starts at a 4, always counts as 4 units for its side stacking limit. Even if it's been damaged, it'll still count as 4. So, first thing that happens is the game begins with a special German cavalry phase in which all the German cavalry units are activated for movement and then combat, simulating the initial German movement in the days leading up to the start of the game.
The Germans came in on horseback,
Yep.
and they rode out in tanks and airplanes. That's one of those is the line.
So I put the cavalry units on top of each stack, that way it's easy. So I'll activate for movement. One other thing, German cavalry, if they ride into a Garde Civique space and it turns out it is a combat unit, they have the choice of retreating one space rather than fighting because of their mobility as cavalry and the lack of response time from the civilian guard. So, first thing I'm going to do is activate my 4th Army Cavalry. They get 4 points of movement, so 1, 2. We're then going to flip this. The guard doesn't show up to fight. So, I get to remove that, so that's 2. They have 2 more movement. Their movement is going to be... they'll spend both movement points to go up the...
Squiggly line.
And to see what this is. It is the Civil Guard has shown up, a combat factor of 6. So not really...
What's up now?
I could stay and fight. If I get unlucky, my cavalry is just dead. If I get lucky, I've eliminated that unit. Odds are it's just going to end in a tie and a forced retreat on my part. So sure, we're going to do a fight. So, you need a 6 to get a hit. I need a 5 or a 6 to get a hit.
Not so much.
Ended in a tie. Tie goes to the defender, so I am forced to retreat to the box I came from.
You go back where you came from.
All right, next cavalry. Oh, I'm sorry. We should not have resolved that fight yet. I should have finished moving all of my cavalry units before fights resolve. Do I want to move any of my other cavalry units? As it is, they can go get in fights and or occupy spaces, but they can't do anything super... Like, I can't reveal any more Civil Guard units unless I want to actually get into a fight with you. This is 2 actual army units. This is a cavalry unit and maybe another unit.
Oh, you gotta be that way, Germany. We're just nice Flemish people over here, eating our French fries.
Well, now you are at war, sir. Okay. I will move. I feel like I should. So I'm going to move.
Take over Brussels. I don't like Brussels.
I'm going to move.
Brussels and I don't agree with each other. I'll let you have Brussels if you just stay away from everything else.
First Cavalry is going to go and interpose themselves between the Belgian cavalry and the fort at Liege to keep you from reinforcing.
They have nice waffles in Liege.
Huh?
They have nice waffles.
Oh.
We're in Belgium.
The Germans are coming. I am the Germans. All right. I think that Yeah, all right. The 3rd Cavalry is also going to move to 4.
Amusingly, I've never had Belgian waffles in Belgium, even though I've been to Belgium multiple times. And I always said, well, I'm not going to have Belgian waffles unless I have them in Liège, which is where the traditional waffles that we're talking about come from.
Good.
I've had the other type of waffles, just which are regular, just pancakes.
Yep.
And then I unexpectedly found myself in Liège just a few months ago, but with not enough time to actually order waffles. So
Unfortunate. So now the first turn starts. Without looking, draw a chit from the cup of randomness.
boom.
All right. So at some point during
get a +1
later in the
attack.
turn, I can get +1 to my die rolls for 1 combat because I have
good.
Zeppelins. It is only during 1 army stack activation, only 1 combat of 1 army stack activation.
If man was meant to fly, God would have given him wings.
Instead, he gave him helium.
Yeah.
All right, there is the first turn end. 2 more of those, and we are done with the chit pool phase.
Oh, there you go.
All right, we have the pink. That is the 2nd German Army. Gets to activate. So first I conduct movement. They are just going to move as a stack
Ugh, that's gross.
and begin the siege
Ugh.
of Liège. So I'm not splitting the cavalry. The cavalry are working in support of the main army this time. I will resolve my event. So I get +1 to my die rolls during this fight. So how the fight's going to work. Put the combat chit here to show this is where we are fighting. You get to roll 5 dice that need a 5 or better and 1 die that needs a 6 or better.
Oh, that's not good at all.
I roll 4 dice at a 5 or better, 3 at a 4 or better, and 1 at a 6 or better.
Okay, so 5 dice.
5 dice at a 5 or better. So you've generated 2 hits so far.
Yes.
Now roll 1 more die, and you need a 6 to get a 3rd hit from that.
Not so much.
All right, so now here are 4 dice that need a 5 or better. And I get +1, but it's still, so I got 2 hits there. And you have 2 hits generated so far. Here's 3 dice that need a 4 or better. So it's 3 more hits.
Oh, that's
a total of
just
5.
terrible.
And 1 that needs a 6. Nope. So I got 5 hits. You got 2 hits. So you have to assign your hits. So this 1 hit kills this. 2 hits would kill this. 4 hits kills this. So you're not going to lose everything. But the fort's going to take some damage here. And I need to assign...
All right, so that's gone.
So that's 1 out of the 5. How many hits did you do to me? 2 or
2.
2, okay. I'm just going to have the GDR
And then 1, 2.
infantry has been...
So that's 3 hits. I need to deal 5.
Yeah.
And then I guess these 2, right?
Yeah. Boom. So the fort still stands, though much damaged. I'm taking...
Well, it took the brunt of the friggin' German cavalry.
German army. Like, this was a whole German army
Yeah.
with cavalry support. Just came knocking on your door.
And that giant stack was menacing.
Yes. So now I am besieging the
Ugh.
fort. But it held for a turn. It didn't just collapse under the weight of my overpowering might. So that was to
Go,
your benefit.
brave little Belgium, go.
All right.
Look what you did.
Look what I did.
Okay.
All right. So at some point later in this turn, the Belgians may when the Belgians activate, they may get +1 move for the turn. On a future German activation, the Germans can get +1. One army can get +1 move for all of its chits. Alright, The Belgians on a move. Oh, so on one of my moves, you can activate this to give -1 movement point to all chits in one army stack that I'm activating.
And that's the end of the chit pull phase.
Okay, so now I have 3 unactivated army stacks. I have to decide how many of them I want to activate. Roll 1 die for each.
I think you should just willy-nilly commit atrocities.
Um,
Just all the atrocities. These Belgian people need to see the might of the German army.
I'm tempted to activate all of them. However, doing so, like rolling 3 dice with a 50-50 each, odds are I'm going to get 2 atrocities, which is pretty bad for the first turn.
Listen, anything worth doing is worth overdoing.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to activate 2 of my 3 stacks. I'm going to activate the first army, and I'm going to activate the 4th army for movement. So here are my 2 die rolls. I have committed 2 atrocities.
Well done.
So the first army, during its activation, is just going to move to catch up with the cavalry and permanently block that line of support.
You're well on your way to making this the most horrifying war ever.
And then the 4th German army is going to go 1, 2, and once again link up
Truly will be the war to end all
their
wars.
cavalry support. Their cavalry can keep going.
Don't lean on anything because you're just moving it.
Sorry. So the 4th cavalry is going to... is going to move here and keep an eye on this French army. Mostly it blocks them from moving down the easy path road and forces them to go along with the slow squiggly line. Though they're not activating for 2 turns, I don't think that's an effective use. Let me think about that for a second. No, the cavalry instead is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. That's where they want to be. Okay, so I have done all my activations, all of the pulled chits. Go back into the cup. The turn marker moves, and now the 5th French army has a chance of activating.
So these pulled chits with all of that stuff only happens...
In the turn in which it's pulled, then it goes back in and can happen once a turn. Like every event can happen once a turn.
Yes, but... And you did all of the things on there? No.
No, there were unused events for both of us.
Okay. So when does that happen?
When I was activating it for movement, I could have flipped for +1 move, and then you could have flipped yours for -1 move.
Okay.
And it would have negated. If you had flipped yours for -1 move, I could have then flipped mine for +1 move.
And I wasn't able to do my thing because I didn't pull a chit of my coat.
Correct. The Belgian army was caught flat-footed by the Belgian army was caught flat-footed by the German advance.
Hooray for chit pull games.
Okay, that's how this works.
Okay.
All right.
I get a force march +1
Move
entente
for the-
movement.
So that goes in the pulled chit. You have it right from the get-go, which is good.
A +1 German movement.
All right.
We have a turn end.
All right. We could have a turn where nobody goes. That is legit a thing, which is to your benefit,
And
not mine.
Albert.
All right, so that is you, the Belgians specifically. So remember, the Guard Civique are not allowed to move, but all your other units are.
All right, I get to do a thing.
You do. You get to try and consolidate your forces in a way that will slow me down. Or you can just spread out and hope that you're able to like get a hit in here or there.
All right,
Well,
so
I'm
if
walking over
do I want to try to maybe fortify that fort?
That's another thing. You could go try and relieve the fort. The fort only has 2 pips. 2 more hits and the fort is dead.
But I can slow you down by keeping you there.
Yep.
Can I? And I can't look at the Guard Civique chits?
You cannot look at the Guard Civique chits. What you can do is if you activate this fort as part of your move, it will shoot at my guys. I am not allowed to shoot back at them if it is just the fort. It's the fort's artillery. So if you do not move any other units in here, you could choose to have the fort roll 2 dice to inflict damage with no attack back. If you move guys in there, then it's a full combat and I roll dice as normal.
Right. Yeah, let's do that. Let's try to...
So that'll happen after you do all your movement.
Yeah. So then I can... So I could do a +1.
You could do a +1. You would choose now before you start moving anything whether you want to activate it. All of your chits get +1 move.
Because it's... I don't know. It doesn't seem... Well, do you know the distribution of the things? You have more than I do, clearly.
Yes.
Yeah.
You only have... This is your only activation with Belgian. If you don't use the +1 move now, you won't use it this turn.
All right, so let's do
So you might as well use it.
Now, if I move into a point where you're in, that's combat?
Yes. The combat will happen after all movement is finished.
And
if you... And all of your units... So if them moving here, them moving there, they would all stack together to form one opposing stack. That is 100% a thing.
There's not a lot of Belgians out there.
Nope.
All right, and then I have one more turn before I get reinforcements.
Well, this army's chit is now in the cup.
Oh,
so
okay.
they will potentially activate. This army comes in next turn. This army gets its normal chit next turn. I have to risk atrocities with the 4th army every time I want to move them right now. Yeah. And then during turn 4, you'll get the British.
I feel like I definitely want to stack. And what are the stack limits?
8. The fort, your green forts count as 4 chits towards the 8 stack.
Okay.
8 per side, I should say.
All right, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's better to... Okay, so I stacked the ones there with there. And
so don't forget, that guy won't move.
Yeah.
But these guys will.
And so is that just one movement point?
Did they come from here?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one from there to there. So they all have one more move. Or 2 moves if you're using the... I'm assuming you're using your +1 movement. So they have 2 movement points left.
Alright, I guess we'll move from there.
Okay. This is a cavalry unit. It has 5 moves. This only has 4 because it's infantry.
I might move those out, actually.
Yeah. But it's just going to get stomped into the ground if I move that big stack north. So you might as well get them out of the way.
All right. And this moves 5?
Yep.
1, 2. This was here, yeah.
Yep.
Let's do 3, 4, 5.
Well, you also have an infantry there, which can stay there or move up to 3 spaces. You you could link up with those.
Yeah,
other...
that's what I'm thinking. 1, 2.
Happy with your move?
No, but we're gonna do it anyway.
All right.
And we get a turn end.
Well, I might have to commit atrocities if I want to use my armies this turn.
And get a -1 for German movement. And your turn.
All right. So it is the army besieging the fort of Liège. I think I'm just going to not move them, and we're going to finish this off. So.
Oh wait, I could have.
Oh yes,
attacked
you
with
you want to activate the fort of Liège.
Mm-hmm.
So roll 2 dice. Each 5 or 6 is a.
Oh, 2 4s. Come on, fort.
So you're going to get to roll 2 more dice for 5s. Let me see what I'm getting to roll. Okay. So do you want to do yours first?
Fine.
You need 5s or better.
How many? 2?
2.
Yeah. Yes.
You got 8.
Double hits.
Wow.
It's going down. It's going down fighting.
It's unfortunate. So there's 3 that need 6s.
Nope.
Nada. Here's 2 that need 5s.
Not so much.
Here's 3 that need 4s. That was a 2. That was a whiff. Utterly and completely. That is sad. And I need to take 2 hits. Alright.
Not going down without a fight.
So 1 hit. 2 hits. Alright.
Those other 2 hits, you got lucky.
Alright.
Okay. Turn end. No. You get a +1.
Combat
attack.
would have been nice.
Turn end.
Alright. So if I want to use any more of my stacks, but the French didn't get to go either.
Yeah, well, typical French. Late for everything.
Yeah. So I'm going to just activate the first army. I'm going to activate them with +1 movement. Do you want to use the -1 movement for the activation? It's the only stack I'm activating. So they're at normal. Here's the roll. They commit more atrocities. They just can't help themselves. Alright. So the first thing that's going to happen is the cavalry is going to move to Hisalt to reveal this Garde Civique. And they're going to say, no, we don't want to fight that battle. So the cavalry is done for the turn, but they revealed that. The rest of the army stack is going to move to Tienen, or however you pronounce that. See what's there. Oh, you've got more Civil Guard. We're fighting a battle. So.
I left them there for cannon fodder. Come on, guys. You can do it.
You get 1 die. You need a 4 or better.
Yes.
You got a hit. I get 1 die on a 6.
No.
2 dice on 5.
No.
4 dice on 4s. I got a hit. You are dead. Because there's no damage side. So you did 1 hit to me. Which is unfortunate.
Yeah, that was an embarrassing showing on your part.
Correct. It indeed was. But my cavalry successfully, showed me that going the longer northern route wasn't effective, so I took.
I don't like that you've got me pincered there.
Correct. But you still have a retreat path, so it is not, it's not really anything at the moment. And in fact, you want to retreat.
No, I clearly a thing that's going to happen. But I can only retreat 1 unit, right? Because the stack limit's 8?
No, what will happen is you would retreat the whole surviving stack. Then if you're over the stack limit, units that are in here must then retreat another step. So yeah. So you chain it
All right.
to maintain
So
stacking. So is that?
that's a turn.
That is a turn. Third turn of the game now. The German progress has been slow. The Fort of Liège is held out with unfortunate stubbornness.
Maybe I'll get my guys to. No, I won't. I'll leave that fort there to just
All right.
last throws. Oh, that's bad.
All right. The Third Army, which has not activated once so far, finally gets to jump into the fight here. So they're going to go use their whole movement of 2 and go there. Their cavalry, which can get a little farther, is going to go 2, 4. Okay.
Ugh.
Second Army. We continued the siege.
Come on, guys. You can do it. You can do it. Believe in you.
You get 2 dice on 5s.
That adds up to 5.
Unfortunately, that is not how that works. So I get 4 dice at 6s.
War isn't fair.
My relative combat strength is now significantly reduced. 0. I get 2 at 5 and 2 at 4. So 2 at 5 and 2 at 4. I got 1 hit.
I mean, I guess if you want to be proud of that.
Hey, I took 0 damage and did A damage. You're now 1 hit away from the end.
Okay.
Okay.
Turn end.
Alright. It's our first one.
And the Belgians get a turn.
The Belgians do get a turn.
All right. I guess these guys are going to move.
Now remember, the fort counts as 4.
Yeah. No, I'm
Or
aware
they're
that,
moving past it. Gotcha.
well, this has to retreat further, right, if this moves here. That's what we
Well,
just
you
talked
move
about.
those other units first,
Yeah.
is what you do.
Okay.
Yeah. It's in a forced retreat at the end of a battle that you have, like, the shoving.
Move.
A 6, a 5, and a 6. So you can, have all your best combat units end up in that space, or your 4 best ones.
Do I want to just, attack that cavalry unit while I have them outgunned?
That is legitimately a thing. Just be aware, if this army stack gets to move, they can come and siege it while you're...
Siege the fort.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to move this and then that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, so I'll move that there.
Mm-hmm.
And move these here.
Boom. Alright, this battle.
Okay. The Belgians are on the offensive.
Mm-hmm. 2 at 6, and then 1 at 5. Nope. Nope. I get 1 at 5. I scored a hit. My cavalry won.
All right.
So, you can eliminate your cavalry, eliminate an infantry, or turn a 5 infantry into a 6 infantry.
5 to 6.
Okay. So, now the trick is, because you are not, this is a Belgian unit, and not a French or British unit, you are not forced to retreat to France. You are allowed to retreat here or here, or if you retreat back to here, 3 of these units will have to displace to an adjacent box.
Yeah, I'll retreat there and these guys. So it's 3 of these.
Yep.
Yeah.
4th Cavalry
+1.
in combat.
Turn end.
All right.
Just waiting for that last bell. Ugh, the French.
Yep.
Finally.
Grey French are the 5th French army finally gets off its ass
Yes.
to do something.
Exactly. All right, so this can move how many? Because it's an entire army.
Right. This chit can move up to 4. Everything else moves 2.
Okay. It's on the 5. That hits on the 5. I'm sure they're all enjoying your mouth noises. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I should. I mean, yeah, I guess I'll move.
Splitting the cavalry
1,
off is a calculated
2.
risk.
Yeah, but I feel like getting you. I don't have a lot of action, so I feel like trying to get you on an offensive. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna do it, and then I'm gonna move these 1. That's like that, right? There was 2 on there. Pretty sure. And 2.
I think you're overset by 1.
No, that's 5. And
Oh,
3.
there's 3 there, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It should also be noted French and Belgian units can stack together. British units do not stack.
Okay,
Weird.
so that happened.
Right.
And then this is a battle.
Yep. We each get 1 die at 5.
Yes. Oh,
Everybody dies.
well, I guess that's not the worst outcome.
Mm-mm.
All right, the French 4th.
Mm-hmm. Their whole stack moves 2. They don't have any cavalry.
And that's 1 movement point.
2.
That's 1. That would be 1 movement. Is what I mean. We're
yeah.
saying the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do 1, 2.
Is there a square there?
No, sorry.
Yeah. There we go.
Big Bertha +1 German.
When
hit
during a
on
fort siege, it's a guaranteed hit. So if this army hadn't already gone, it would have been a guaranteed just kill of that fort. All right, the 4th German army. Oh, I'm sorry. This top chit could have gone more spaces. This has a 4 move because it's got just the 1 slash. I just couldn't see it because the dark blue. So you could have had it in a different spot. Do you care?
I'm looking.
Yeah.
And it moves 4?
Yes.
4.
4.
Okay.
It's moved 2 already, but it started
no,
here.
Yes,
Yeah.
it would.
Yeah.
That's staying here. I'm
It can
deciding.
move 4.
1, 2, 3.
You want to have some more mutually assured cavalry destruction?
I'm considering it. Can I move through an enemy unit?
No. You will stop when you move into a square that contains at least one enemy ship, and a battle will happen.
Um. We'll do 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay. Done. Now I'll
Sure.
be activating this army. So, yeah, we're just gonna. Sorry. Let's take on the French. The German and French Fourth Armies will be duking it out in Virton. All right, so you get 3 dice at 4. I get 3 dice at 4, 2 at 5, and 1 at 6. So here's the 1 at 6. Nope. Here's the 2 dice at 5. 1 hit. And then here is the 3 at 4. So I've done 2 hits. You get 3 dice at 4. Yep. Cocked one in there.
That counts.
I don't know what the proper dice tower etiquette there is. If it doesn't come out of the tower, does that count?
I'm gonna say it did count. Fine, I'll leave it.
I was asking. So, I'm going to take a hit. Do you want to eliminate 1 unit and keep 2 at 4, or do you want to damage 2 units to have 2 at 5 and 1 at 4?
I'll damage.
All right. Boom. Okay. That was that.
Come on, turn end. All right, Belgians. Force march +1 on top movement.
Kind of irrelevant at this point.
Yes.
-1 German movement, that matters. All right, the first German army is activating. Do you want to use the -1? I don't have my +1 move, so they are at -1. Cavalry moves 3, infantry moves 1. This is very sad. I can't actually go attack the fort like I would like to do. But the cavalry can rejoin the rest and lend their support in the upcoming battle. All right. There's only 2 chits left.
Yeah, friggin' turn end is deciding to do.
And it doesn't matter because one's an event and the other's turn end. So the end is done.
Okay.
I don't get any alternate activations because all my armies went. The British Expeditionary Force will now be active in the game.
That was a long couple days.
Yes. It was a long couple days. All right. Boom.
All right. The British are coming. No.
The French are coming.
So the French 4th So I can move all the French fourth, right? Like that one and
Yes.
that one?
Every French fourth chit gets to move.
So I get to activate that just when I pull a
No,
green
this
chip?
fort will never activate again.
Okay.
Each fort is once per game.
Right.
So it will roll dice to defend itself and nothing else. Essentially.
I want that cavalry to go. This is... Those are both at limit. 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what? I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay. Are you going to move the main stack or leave it where it is? It's currently being an effective speed bump.
Yeah. I'll leave it.
Okay. So we have a one-on-one cavalry duel to fight.
Nope.
Nope. Alright, attacker retreats. The box it entered from.
Did I go that way? No, I went this
No.
way.
Yeah.
That's not good.
No.
Germans.
Second Army. Alright, let's see if we can finish this now, shall we?
Let's not see. Get it? Get it?
Yeah.
Let's not see.
I get it. You have 1 at 5. Here's my 4 at 6.
Ugh.
2 at 5. I got the 1 hit I needed. 2 at 4. I got 3 hits. I needed 1 to finish up.
They fought a good fight.
You get to roll 1 die for a 5 to attempt to...
No.
No.
They fought a good fight.
Alright. Destroyed.
You can have our town, but you will never have our waffles.
And I did it, that army did it without committing any atrocities. It's these guys that have been just having a bloody hand across the country. The second army is on the up and up. Alright. Boom.
+1.
Movement.
German movement.
Alright.
Turn end. Third German army.
Okay. Well, there's something in my way. I guess I need to go deal with it. Hello, cavalry. Oh, wow, my third army is pretty baller for its size. Alright, so you get 1 at 5, I get 3 at 4, 1 at 5, 1 at 6.
No.
Alright, so let's do
Just short.
3 at 4. I killed you multiple times over. Don't have to roll the rest. Okay, so third army eliminated the obstacle that was in their way. Unfortunately, they don't get to keep moving, but they're now have some open forward progress they can make. My line is not as advanced as I would have liked it to have been at this point. Like, I only have 2 more turns to finish that fort and get beyond this line if I want to win.
Yeah, I am not feeling sorry for you right now. All right. That is a +1 to German hit.
Yep, automatic hit on a fort.
And that is a +1 to German or Belgian movement. And whatever.
The 4th German Army. Okay. Alright, 4th French Army, let's test your mettle once more on the field of battle in Sedan. What I'm doing with the 4th Army is probably a mistake. I've seen that at this point, but they're already committed to what they're doing, so they're just going to keep doing it. But it was probably a mishandle of that army.
I'm sure that there was a lot of mishandling in this game.
Okay, so you get 1 at 4 and 2 at 5.
Okay, 1 at 4. No. 2 at 5. Again, adds up to 5.
Yeah. Here's 3 at 4. 3 hits. 1 at 5. Nada. 2 at 6. Nada. So 3 hits. So that is... yeah. 1 hit will kill each of these. So your army has 4 total hits left. So basically you're going to be left with 1, 5...
Is what it is. It retreats back one, yeah. Come on, I need some turn end markers.
Yeah. Where did the
Right.
British to go? Well, there, the
Belgians.
Belgians.
Yeah, where the hell are the British? I thought the British were coming.
They are eventually. Finally.
All right. So, what can I do now?
You basically can rearrange these chits in a way that is pleasing to your senses,
I don't really.
or you can leave them as is.
I can move stuff down.
Correct. For example, you could get like this 6 out of here and replace it with a 5 from here if you wanted to have a better combat unit in that space. Like the 6 would come up here or here, and you'd move the 5 over. And then on a later turn, if it's still open, you could move it back.
Yeah, I guess I do want to.
Or you could just move it across.
Well,
like,
no,
to
I definitely
here.
want to delay. I want to delay you because. Okay.
Like, you're just buying time.
Yeah. So I think that I will move these 3 over here,
Okay.
and then I will move. Yeah, I'll let the British or the Belgians over here, and then the French over here,
Yep.
and then I can move some French over there
Mhm.
at some point, perhaps. Okay.
All right.
All right. Time for some French business. So that 4 has to stay there.
Yes. The fort does not get to walk around.
This is going to go here. Now, is your goal just to move beyond the line?
I have to destroy this fort and this fort,
Okay.
and have an infantry unit beyond the line.
All right. So I definitely want to keep that fort.
Yes.
And right now, I'm at my stack limit.
Yep.
In Namur.
Here. Yeah. That fort cannot. I cannot win if that fort still stands.
And I think I'm good there.
Okay. If you are good, make the pull.
Yeah, I don't want. It doesn't seem being on the offensive is worth it. Maybe.
You could try. Go for an attack against my stack to put damage on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Just to do it. Like, just to.
Gotcha.
Then it retreats back to its base. So.
Correct. All right.
All right.
You're throwing a counteroffensive at the German First Army in Gembloux. Your French army are no slouches. Wow.
No.
They are an enemy to be reckoned with. Let me tell you what. Okay, so you get 5 at 4 and then 1 at 5.
Let's do this.
2.
That's not as good as I would have hoped.
And then 1 more at 5.
Yes.
So you got 3 total hits. I get 4 at 4. I need to re-roll this one. So 3.
Whatever. Of course, when you re-roll,
2 at
hit.
5. I get 1 more, so that's 4. And 2 at 6. Nope. So I got 4 hits to your 3 hits. So I win the battle and you'll retreat. You need to assign 4 hits. I need to assign 3 hits.
All right, so this goes that way.
1.
That goes 3 hits, right?
Yeah. 4 hits.
4 hits. There, there, there.
2.
These guys go back to there. All right. So clearly I need to do this on... Well, no, I mean, I was looking at some plexi. And then I decided that I wanted actually custom size plexi so that it fits in my bag better.
Gotcha.
And after we played Westphalian, I saw that really we just need to like crease that correctly so that it doesn't do that. I had some, but it all broke or got scratched or got lost in move. There you go.
All right, my weakened first German army. All right, I need to get the siege of this fort underway. It just needs to happen. And I'm activating my Big Bertha, so I'm guaranteed to do 1 hit on the fort in addition.
Did I do the forced march +1?
For the Belgians, no. We didn't move anywhere that would have required it.
Okay, never mind.
Okay. So you get 8 at 5. Is what you're rolling. So I'll roll 8 dice for 5s.
Look at that. That is quite the opening salvo there.
Yes, it is. 4 hits. I get 3 at 4. Nada. That's not good. 2 at 5. And 2 at 6. Wow. It's a good thing I got the automatic hit on the fort, because I did nothing else.
You don't mess with the Belgians, man.
So I need to take
Didn't you learn your lesson from Liège? Didn't you learn your lesson?
2,
Come on.
3, 4. Okay.
That was the weak fort.
All right. Well, there's a reason Big Bertha exists, and it's to let me potentially make progress even when
Turn end.
the dice fail me.
+1 on attack.
Yep.
Yes.
2 8 for that +1 on attack.
There's only 2 in here, so
Yeah.
That is thing, and yes. Phew.
Yeah, too bad the British didn't get to go.
Fucking British. Stupid Brits.
Ugh. That was a bad turn for me. I don't think the Germans are not going to win. They can still get a tie. All right.
+1 Big Bertha.
Ooh, good.
I don't like that. And the 4th Army gets to do a thing.
They can get out the way.
Or they can plow right into the...
The 4th German Army.
Yeah.
One final glorious charge.
Yes.
At my machine gun lines.
Well, yeah, if I just stay there, I'm blocking you from...
Correct. I think
anywhere,
you just stay where you are and make me fight you.
Okay.
3rd German
third.
Army. Okay. The 3rd Army is fresh. They're going to come in and attack the fort, and I'm going to use my Big Bertha to guarantee 1 hit on the fort. They're not going to win this fight, but their job isn't to win it. Their job is to just try and generate some hits. Okay, so you get 7 at 5. Because your fort took a damage last time.
3.
0.
1.
1. Alright, that's much better for me. The 3rd Army might be able to win it, where the 1st Army couldn't. Alright, so 3 at 4. Nada. 1 at 5. Nada. 1 at 6. Nada. So the only thing I got was the free hit.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Big
fort.
Bertha, you'd be SOL over there.
Correct. And you got how many hits?
I got 1 hit.
1 hit. Alright. So they retreat back the way they came, but they got the Big Bertha trigger, which is important. Like, at the very least, I'll take that fort out in 2 more turns just with Big Bertha.
The French. No.
The British.
The British.
The British are coming!
The British named French.
Yep.
Okay.
So
this cavalry moves 4 as usual?
yes, but remember you need
But
all
it's a
3
+1
chits stacked
hit.
together to have the +1 to your die rolls. Also, British units may not stack with French or Belgian. They have to be in their own boxes. They don't mix. So they can be in a fort, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they'll... Do you have to attack this fort?
No, I can absolutely ignore that.
It's
fort.
just the Belgian forts?
It's just these 2 forts
Yeah, the
specifically. I
Belgian
can ignore
forts.
this Belgian
okay, that
fort.
one. Okay.
Yeah. Antwerp doesn't matter. It's just the shortest route across the line is through Antwerp. But if I ignore that route, I can ignore that fort.
Okay.
So.
Can they end up there? And with the Guard Civique?
So I don't think so. Like if I flip that chit and it ends up being blank, then it's
All right,
gone.
so the
via
cavalry's 4 and the rest are 2 for
2.
normal?
Yes. But you have to move the whole thing 2 if you want to keep the bonus.
All right, 1, 2.
Alright. Happy?
And really, you just need any infantry across the line?
1 infantry across the line.
After attacking that fort.
After destroying that fort, yes.
And I only get the +1 if this is 1 stack?
Yes. All 3 units are in a stack with no other units, and every chit is undamaged. Which is currently the case, but as soon as they take combat damage,
All
they
right,
lose.
I'll leave it there. Turn end.
Well, that's not nice.
+1 attack, Germans.
Good.
+1 German movement. -1 German movement.
Ooh.
+1 Entente movement. And Albert gets to do a thing.
The Belgian armies are active. You could try taking that army on the offensive. They've certainly done good work for you on the defensive.
I think I will. Just because I need to weaken you before you try to attack that fort. Because Big Bertha hasn't come out yet.
It has.
Big Bertha has not
The
come
third army, it's this one right here.
Oh, but you used it already.
Yes, I've used it for the turn already.
Yeah.
That is 100% correct. Honestly, probably the worst thing that can happen is if they win the fight and don't get to go back to the fort space.
Still gonna do it.
Right. So going after the first. Do you want to move these units at all?
It's a good question. I might just move them back. So if these retreat to here, where do if these move here and these retreat to here, I just move back anywhere?
So they'll then retreat.
Do I get to choose
So
where they're?
you choose. So when retreating from a fort, if the fort is still alive, you can choose to stay there to defend the fort, and we're all would just be a big
good.
stack.
Then definitely doing that.
You just can't go over stacking limit with that. Like,
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm asking.
right.
So what happens in that case?
in this instance, what would happen is, if their only viable avenue of retreat is occupied by the enemy, would cause a box to overstack, holding in excess of 8 friendly units, or number of friendly units that were in that box must be displaced. So you'd have to move the 4 units from there out, retreating one box themselves. So they would go back here.
Okay.
Essentially, it would just end up being...
So not doing that then. I don't want to go headlong into that because I feel like you're probably going to want to move these that way because that's the only thing left for you.
That is indeed a thing. I wish I still had a cavalry unit I could go scout that out. Because if if this is not a thing, it'd be nice to know that's an open line. As opposed to an enemy unit I have to fight.
You know what? Oh, do I attack that cavalry?
Yeah, he's kind of cut off at this point.
Yeah.
I was
guess
trying
I
to get
would
him
want-
around through here, but I didn't get the activations to get him there.
I
before
want
Prince
these
got out of
guys
the
to
way.
move back to here, but
You can do it, because if you lose this fight, these guys go back and these guys go back here. If you win this fight, then these guys are there and these guys are here.
okay, yeah, I'll do that.
Like, it's
Okay.
not a bad situation.
No, I mean that's what I was asking before.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we're doing it. Mm-hmm. You could also have these guys join these guys in this fight.
Yeah, I'll do that actually. And then realize that there was 2 movement.
Yep, 1, 2. All right. Oh wait, this guy.
Guard Civic sticks around.
Oh, the guards. Oh, whoops, the guard civic was here.
I got it.
Okay, so 6, 6, 6, 5, 5, 5. Oh, whoops, combat is here. I have 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, and a 6. All right, so you have 3 at 6 and 4 at 5.
Not as good as I would have hoped, but 4 at 5.
Yep. Nada. Your armies just aren't good at attacking.
And 3 at 6.
Yep. But they're really good at holding the defensive line.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was saying. It doesn't seem like it's... I mean, I mentioned this earlier. It doesn't seem like it's worth it, but...
I mean, it would have, the dice are the same odds whether I'm
Yeah.
attacking you or you attacking me. And if you attack me and force me to retreat back towards Germany,
But it doesn't seem like it's worth it to cause... when I say it doesn't seem like it's worth it, it's because you're rolling dice against me, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it's worth it for me to, have this happen.
Right. So that's 4 hits, and then I get 1 at 6. Nope. Alright, so 4 hits. To be assigned to these guys.
All right, so that is a 6, that is a 6, that is a 6, and that is a 6.
Boom.
All right, so these guys lost.
So they go here, and then you need to have it so that there's only 4 in that box, and the rest have to go one more space.
I think they were all 6s, so it doesn't
Which
matter.
could legally be here if you wanted. Because these are both one space from...
Oh, I thought I had to go back to where...
No.
Oh, that's good.
They'll have to go back to the one
Actually,
square
this
they entered
is...
from.
This one could stay here. Because this is 4, and that's
Yes.
not 4.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. Technically, they go back here, then you're overstacked, and you follow the overstack rules of retreating one additional space. The Belgian normal retreat rules allow them to retreat in any direction as long as it's not enemy occupied. French and British units have to retreat towards France. That's one of their specific rules. And my armies have to retreat towards Germany.
Okay.
Okay. You've got to take 3 turns, and I've only taken 1. It's not cool.
Hey, that's how I felt the first couple turns.
There's the second...
You don't have German surprise anymore.
I don't have German surprise anymore. Alright, so the second army is going to one... Oh, sorry. I'm going to use... I'm not going to use the +1 movement. I'm going to use the +1 combat die rolls, and they're just going to come over here and attack the fort. All pressure on the fort. So you get 2 at 5 and 4 at 6.
All right, 2 at 5. Nothing. 4 at 6. Come on, guys.
Nada. I get 2 at 4, 2 at 5,
Come on.
and 4 at 6. So 3 hits. To be assigned how you choose.
Well, these are gone, right? So that's 6.
Well, you use 3.
6.
Yep.
6.
So you have 1 left and the fort. And you can either have the 1 cavalry unit retreat or stay there to help defend the fort. Your choice.
I mean, the cavalry's going to roll on a 6. I don't think that's really that helpful.
This army still has an activation, and if this is moving in here to support, the cavalry would be like 1 less unit that has to move in to meet the stacking limit requirement. Or you can just retreat it into that army stack, because there's less than 8 there.
Mm-hmm. I'll do that. Yeah, probably not a good idea to have a fold right in the middle of the main line of defense.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Again, that should be under Plexi. That's really my fault.
Alright, the 4th army. Well, roar. 5, 6, 6. So 3 at 4, 2 at 6, 1 at 5. So you want to roll your 1 at 5 first? Nope. So I will have an overrun chance if I kill you. Because I outnumber you by 5 times. So here's 3 at 4. I got it. I outnumber you by 5. I took 0 casualties. Or I have 5 times the number of guys, which 1 to 6 is 5 times. I won the battle. I took no casualties. I eliminated all the defenders. So I take the spot, and I'm allowed to go 1 more space. And that's what an overrun looks like. But it still stops my movement there. So like the +1 move wouldn't have done anything for me. So...
It's looking dire. Turn end. Oh,
Alright.
saved by the bell.
So, I can activate the first army. There's a chance they'll commit more atrocities. They're responsible for like 2 out of the 3 atrocities that have happened so far.
They're terrible people.
Sure. We're going to let them continue to run free. They commit another atrocity.
Yeah, you keep doing that. Keep doing that.
I do keep doing that. So I'm going to use the +1 move. Do you want to use the -1 move to negate it? All right. So they move normally. They are going to move 1, 2. Hey, look, we're having a fight. But I want to...
Thank you, Guard CB, for existing.
Yes. Okay. I have a bunch, 5 at 5 and 1 at 6. And you have 1 at 4. No. So we need 5 at 5. Oh, you're dead. Okay. And that does allow an overrun.
I didn't like Brussels anyway.
So the question is, do I move them to Ghent, which just takes them way out of the action, or I do... I overrun here, which can trigger another fight. I'm not allowed to overrun a second time. All right, we're having a fight.
1 at 5.
1 at 5.
All right. Yes.
All right, I got 5 at 5. All right, so you're dead, but I have to eat a casualty. All right, so that's that.
So, you have to win.
If I don't complete all my objectives by the end of this turn, I cannot win. The best I can do is tie. Draw.
And then this is a draw.
Yep.
And then that's a win for me.
No, this is a draw. You have to last until the end of the last turn without me achieving my objectives to win. The Belgians. Are you going to the Congo? You can go attempt to relieve the siege. You could also activate the fort, because that fort hasn't activated yet. If you have units in there, it will just get to participate in the offensive battle, and it will be a normal battle. If you don't move Belgian units in there, it gets to fire 2 shots without me shooting back.
I feel like I need to move... I only move 2, though. 1, 2... Does this count as part of that?
Yes, that 1 chit is allowed to move right now.
I can move through British, right?
Yes, you just can't end your move in this place. You are absolutely allowed to move past it.
Alright, so I'll move this cowboy there.
Okay.
And then I'll move these guys over here.
Are you activating the fort to participate for its once per game?
Yes.
Okay. So, fighting?
Because I don't know that it'll survive.
Right. Oh, hey. Oh, that's right. This guy's here. All right, so you get 2 at 5 and 3 at 6.
2 at 5. No. 3 at 6. Come on, just give me something. Yes, 1 hit.
All right. I get 4 at 6. Nada. 2 at 5.
No.
2 hits.
Yeah, sorry.
And then 2 at 4. So I got 2 and you got 1. Alright.
So you killed 2 guys.
Yep. You don't want to take any of the damage on the fort?
No.
You sure?
Yes.
Because you could.
I'm sure that that is a possibility.
Oh, do you want to not retreat and then stay and defend the fort when I resolve the siege?
Yes.
All right. Since that is a thing you are allowed to do.
Okay. German third.
So now here's the thing. They can't actually move in to attack the fort in any kind of strength because the second is already stacked there. So what they are going to do... They can't really do...
Stupid British.
The third army is really sad. They just advance to Dinant, and they were like, they made one big Bertha run on the fort, and that's the only thing that they managed to accomplish.
Oh, there's your Big Bertha.
Good.
Right.
Fourth army. All right. So the fourth army is going to go 1, 2. So they've made it across the line. If I can take out the fort this turn, I will have achieved a victory.
So +1 march. Okay.
That army doesn't exist anymore.
Are there no 4th in here?
No. I think the cavalry self-destructed on my cavalry.
Yeah.
And
you're
then
right.
they gave their lives valiantly slowing down the German Fourth Army.
All right. There you go.
That's the first. That's not
Yeah,
the
I know.
second.
I'm saying there you go as in take your turn.
All right. First army is going to... Oh, they just want to...
Do they, though?
Yeah,
I mean, you're already over the line.
I am. But I could randomly lose a bat. Like, if the British get to
Oh,
go...
yeah, I can make you retreat.
Correct.
Oh,
Yes. 100% that is a thing that could happen.
okay.
And that would be a problem. I want to have 2 stacks over the line.
Mm-hmm. Turn end. Come on, one more turn end. Okay.
All right,
There's
British.
the British.
Yep. Yeah. This is exactly why it was important for them to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Because the British could absolutely force the Fourth Army to retreat, and then I would not have won. Or had a chance to even win.
Well, I'm going to attack the first, not the fourth.
Well, now that the first is across the line. If the first had been here and the fourth
Yeah.
was there, like...
But if I attack anyone, it's the first.
Yeah.
Which...
The bloodthirsty bastards that they are. All right. So you get 2 at 4 and 1 at 5.
Don't I get a +1?
Yeah, the dice that you roll are 1 higher than what the notes show.
Okay. So 2 at 4.
Yep. So you got 1 hit.
And 1 at 5.
So you got 1 hit.
Not terribly helpful.
2, 3, 4. I get 5 at 5.
Come on, Jacob.
So we each got 1 hit. So that just kills
Right.
the guy.
That cavalry will go to 6.
The cavalry is a 1 hit.
Oh, never mind. I guess I'll do one of the things. Yeah.
All right. So you retreat. Oh no, they came.
They were here.
Well, no, they were.
No, yeah, they were
they're
here. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So here's the thing: if the second army doesn't get to activate, before you get the last end turn, I have to decide if I want a 50-50 roll to lose to have a chance to
You
win.
should totally do that.
Or do I just go for the
turn
tie?
in. Yes, turn in.
So, I can either roll to win or lose the game.
Yeah.
Or I can just go for the tie by not rolling and just letting us...
Go for glory, man.
I think I am. All or nothing. Like, the Second Army has not committed any atrocity so far. They have
Just
been...
the bloodthirsty first.
Correct. So, they commit an atrocity and I lose.
All right, that's game.
Yep.
All right, so that was brave little Belgium. The Belgians were brave, and the Germans were atrocious. So, good game.